Everyone is saying AI will replace data engineers. So I decided to test it. I gave AI a real data engineering task. Build a data pipeline that ingests, orders data, cleans it, create revenue tables, runs data quality checks, and schedule everything like a production workflow. And honestly, the first version looked impressive. It created code, it created transformations, it even created a pipeline structure. But then I reviewed it like a senior data engineer and I found 7 production bugs that would absolutely break this pipeline in the production world. Some bugs were obvious, some are hidden, and one of them would silently duplicate revenue without anyone noticing. That is the scary part. Hello everyone, welcome to Big Data Factory. I am Pranit and have 4 plus years of experience working as a data engineer. And if this is your first time visiting this channel, don't forget to subscribe for more content on big data and real world insights. So in this video, we are going to find out, can AI actually build a production data pipeline? Or can it only build something that looks good in a demo? Here is the task I gave AI. I said, build a data pipeline for an e-commerce company. The pipeline should read daily orders data, clean the records, calculate daily revenue, create a final analytics table, and basic data quality checks and schedule the job. The input data has columns like order ID, customer ID, product ID, order date, quantity, price, country, and payment status. The expected output is simple: a clean orders table, a daily revenue table, and a pipeline that could run every day. This is not a crazy advanced project. This is exactly the type of pipeline many beginners build for portfolio. So if AI can do this properly, that matters. But if AI makes mistakes here, that also matters. After a few prompts, AI gave me a pipeline. At first glance, it looked pretty good. It had an ingestion step, it had cleaning logic, it had revenue calculation, it had some basic checks, it had scheduling, and it even had comments in the code. This is the moment where a beginner might say, great, the pipeline is done. But this is also the dangerous part. Because in data engineering, code can look clean and still be completely unsafe for production. A pipeline is not production ready just because it runs once on sample data. A production ready pipeline has to handle reruns, bad data, late files, schema changes, duplicate failures, and monitoring. So now I'm going to review this AI generated pipeline like a senior data engineer, and I will give it a production score. I will judge the AI pipeline in 7 categories: idempotency, incremental loading, schema change handling, data quality, configuration and secrets, backfills, monitoring, and alerting. For each category, I will mark it as a pass, warning, or fail. And by the end, we will know whether AI built a real pipeline or just a nice looking demo. Let's start. Bug number 7, hard-coded configuration. The AI generated code had file paths directly inside the script. It also had database connection details written in the code. This may work on a laptop, but in production, this is a problem. Paths change, environments change. Credentials should not live inside source code. A production pipeline should separate code from configuration. For example, local, dev, staging, and production should use different config values. Secrets should come from environmental variables or a secret manager. The pipeline should not have a random file path hard-coded inside the logic. So this is the first issue. The code runs, but it is not portable. Production status, warning. Bug number 6, weak data quality checks. AI added a few checks, but they were too basic. For example, it checked whether the file exists. That is useful. But it did not properly check the business rules. Can order ID be null? Can quantity be negative? Can price be 0? Can order ID appear twice? Can revenue suddenly drop by 80% compared to yesterday? Can payment status contains unexpected values? These are the checks that actually protect dashboards. Because a pipeline can run successfully and still produce wrong data, that is one of the biggest beginner mistakes. They think green job equals correct data. But in production, green job only means the code ran. It does not mean the business numbers are correct. So bug number 6 is weak data quality. Production status, fail. Bug number 5, no schema change handling. This is a very real problem. Imagine today's orders file had a column called price. Tomorrow, source team renames it to unit price. or they add a new column called discount amount, or they change order date from one date format to another. What happens? In the AI pipeline, there was no clear schema contract, no expected schema check, no quarantine flow, and no alert. The pipeline would either break suddenly, or worse, or continue running with wrong assumptions. The second case is more dangerous because silent failure is worse than loud failure. In production, I want the pipeline to know what schema it expects. If the schema changes, I want to catch that bad data before the final table. So bug number 5 is no schema change handling. Production status fail. Now before I show the next bug, here is what surprised me. The AI was good at writing code, but it was not good at understanding operational risk. And that is the difference between coding and data engineering. Coding asks, can I transform this file? Data engineering asks, what happened when tomorrow's file is wrong? That is the real game. Now let's continue. Bug number 4, no proper incremental loading. The AI pipeline was reading all the data and recreating the output. For a small demo, this is fine. But in a real company, data grows. Today it is one file. Next month it is hundreds of files. Next year it is billions of rows. A production pipeline should usually know what data is new, what data has already been processed, and what data needs to be reprocessed. That could mean processing by date partition, or using a watermark, or tracking processed files, or using incremental models. But the AI pipeline did not have a clear strategy. It was basically saying read everything again. That works until it does not. So the bug number 4 is missing incremental design. Production status fail. Bug number 3, no backfill support. This is one of the most underrated parts of data engineering. Imagine yesterday files arrive late, or the business changes the revenue logic, or a bug is found in last month transformation. Now we need to reprocess historical data. Can the pipeline run for a specific date? Can it reprocess 1 week? Can it safely override a partition? And can it avoid duplicating the data? In the AI generated pipeline, there was no clear way to do this. It was designed for a happy path. Today file comes, today job runs, today's output is created, but production does not work like that. Backfills happen all the time. And if a pipeline cannot backfill safely, it is not production ready. Production status fail. Bug number 2, no monitoring or alerting. This pipeline could fail and nobody would know until someone looked at the dashboard. This is not okay. A production pipeline needs visibility. At minimum, I want to know, did the job run? Did it finish? How many rows were processed? How many rows failed validation? When was the final table last updated? Did revenue took abnormal? And were there any schema changes? If the daily revenue dashboard is stale, the business team should not be the first monitoring system. The pipeline should alert before the users complain. So bug number 2 is missing monitoring and alerting. Production status fail. Bug number 1, no idempotency. This is the biggest bug, and it is the one that simply destroys trust. Idempotency means if I run the same pipeline twice for the same input, I should get the same result. But in the AI generated pipeline, if I rerun the job for the same day, it would append the same orders again. That means revenue could double and the dashboard would look amazing, but it would be completely wrong. This is why idempotency matters. Production pipelines fail. People rerun jobs. File arrive late. Schedules retry. If rerunning a pipeline duplicates records, you have a serious problem. A better design would use stable keys, partition override, merge logic, or deduplication rules. For example, one order ID should appear once. Each partition should be safely overwritten or merged. Processed files should be tracked. The final table should not blindly append everything forever. So bug number 1 is no idempotency. Production status major fail. So here is the final score. Did AI create code? Yes. Did it create something that looked like a pipeline? Yes. Did it help speed up development? Absolutely. But was it production ready? No. The AI pipeline failed on idempotency, incremental loading, backfills, monitoring, schema changes, data quality, and configuration. This does not mean AI is useless. Actually, I think AI is very useful. It can generate boilerplate code, it can explain errors, it can create first drafts, it can write tests if you ask carefully, and it can speed up documentation. But AI does not automatically understand your business rules, your data contracts, your SLAs, your failure modes, or your production environment. That is still the job of a data engineer. So, how would I fix this pipeline? I would add a config layer. I would define an expected schema. I would validate important business rules. I would process data incrementally. I would make writes idempotent. I would support backfills by date. I would add logging, row counts, freshness checks, and alerts. And I would document what the pipeline does, what it assumes, and what happens when it fails. That is the difference between the AI generated demo and a production style data pipeline. So, can AI replace data engineers? My honest answer is AI can replace some repetitive coding, but it cannot replace production thinking, at least not by default. The value of data engineer is not just writing Python script. It is knowing what can go wrong before it goes wrong. It is protecting business metrics. It is designing for reruns, failures, messy data, late data, and changing requirements. So the best data engineers will not ignore AI. They will use AI, but they will also know how to review it, correct it, and turn a quick draft into something reliable. That is the real skill. Comment AI if you want more this type of videos. If this helped, drop a like and subscribe to Big Data Factory. This is all for today. We will meet in the next video. Till then, keep learning and keep building. Bye bye.